Welcome to Community Table, a discussion series about real life with diabetes. Community Table is presented by the JDRF-Beyond Type 1 Alliance and made possible with support from Abbott, Lilly, and Dexcom.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Community Table brought to you by Beyond Type 1. I am your host, Tiana Cooks, and please pull up a seat at today's Community Table because we are talking to two very empowered and inspiring women who both defeat and thrive with diabetes. So today we have Kiki, my girl Qiana Drew, and Breana Raquel, who are joining us. I don't know anyone who can do a better intro than yourselves, so I'll give it to you to go ahead and introduce yourselves, and we'll get started. So hi, ladies.
Hello. I'm, first of all, happy to be here, excited. Tiana, we go way back. And Breana, I'm excited to have a new dia buddy. You're already my dia buddy, that's it. But I'm not giving you options now. A little bit about myself. So I wear a lot of hats. Number one is mom. I have two daughters. I've had diabetes for over 22 years. And when I was diagnosed, it was at the height of my music career. And I was doing a whole bunch of amazing things and around celebrities all the time. And it was really challenging for me to kind of zone in and know how important diabetes was. And then fast forward, I'm here in this space, empowering other people with diabetes, letting them know that nothing can stop you. It's just go get it.
So Kiki has a song. She's being very humble. She has a song, and it is such a good vibe. The song you just released last year. And
I actually did not release it. So I just shot a music video and I just put the finishing touch on the mix today.
So oh my gosh. Okay.
So it was like an unofficial release. You know how I kind of started working on it. Okay. But then, there's so much that goes into doing music where you're just like, oh, I didn't catch that. I could record that better. So I had to do it all over again. And now it's done and I'm excited about it. And it's called You Are Not Alone, #Yana. So just be on the lookout because eventually I will drop it. Yeah.
We will wait. Wait, one last thing. Qiana is also a marathon runner. She didn't mention that, but she's a marathoner, so we'll get into that in a minute too.
That's only most recently, and yeah, we'll get into that too.
Awesome. Well, hi, Tiana and Qiana. Thank you guys for having me, and I don't know, we're just gonna have a cool conversation about type 1 and being a girl and all that. I'm Breana, for those of you who don't know. I'm an actress and a singer. I'm based in LA, and I was diagnosed with type 1 at 18. So I was an adult. I've had it for about 5 years now. And yeah, we're just continuing to navigate it. I started posting about my journey actually pretty much right at the beginning because I had no clue what was going on. And I was like, maybe someone else does. And I also didn't know what to look for when I was first diagnosed with it. And I was like, what are all these symptoms? And I kind of wanted to share with others because I was scared of them. And I don't know, I kind of wanted to put the symptoms out there of maybe someone else who doesn't also know that what's happening to them. So I just started putting it out on social media. And ever since then, I've just been navigating living with it through my career, everyday life. And yeah.
That's incredible. I remember, so I followed you on Instagram a long time ago. And then you followed me back and I was like, oh my goodness, we're kind of cool. And so then I think we connected a couple of times just on Instagram through DMs and just liking each other's photos. And then all of a sudden I'm like, what's this new Purple Hearts movie? I literally turned the movie on and you're in it. And I was like, no way. And it was just the coolest thing ever. So we'll talk about that too, because I have so many questions for you.
Yes.
But wait, what were your signs? What were your symptoms when you were diagnosed?
It was not great. I think I went down to 87 pounds in a month and a half. And I was like, my leggings are getting a little baggy. Something's wrong. I was peeing 2-3 times a night, every night. The thirst I had was immense. It was intense. And I was like, I'm going to drink the ocean. if I don't do something right now. So yeah, I mean, just like the telltale signs, really, that I didn't know were signs until I looked it up. And I was like, diabetes? Okay. Yeah, it was diabetes.
Oh my gosh. So you looked up your symptoms then? Like, that's how you found out?
It was pretty crazy because I just kept on feeling like I was going to pass out. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. I'm exhausted. I have all these weird symptoms going on. And so I looked up, like, peeing every night and being extremely hungry and thirsty. And they were like, diabetes on like WebMD or something like that. And I was like, yeah, okay. That's why they tell you don't look it up. I get a call from the doctor because I went and did some tests. And they were like, do you have diabetes? And I was like, no, I don't know. They were like, you should go to the hospital. And I was like, wow. Okay.
So you looked up your symptoms first, and they were like, nah, can't be. Yep. I mean, it's on the sides. Like, it walks like a duck. It quacks like a duck.
Yeah.
But no.
I literally thought it was a joke.
And then you got the call from the doctor because you went to go do blood work. And then they said, then they asked you, do you have diabetes? Like, I went to you.
Yeah, they really, it was like, do you have diabetes? Like, does diabetes run in your family? And I was like, literally no one. I have no idea what you're talking about. So it was definitely a shock. And it was hard for me to believe at first. I was like, what do you mean? I'd only really heard of type 2. And I was like, I don't have there's no reason I have diabetes. But yeah, then I quickly learned about type 1.
That is so wild. Like, that's like my story, but I was 17 when I was diagnosed, and I also looked up my symptoms. So it's interesting because Kiki, like when you were diagnosed, you probably didn't have like your cell phone just at your fingertips to be like,
I did have
what's going on with me?
I mean, I know I'm just a little bit older, but
you look so good. Like,
but I was diagnosed only a few years above the ages you were. So for me, I was showing all the signs, but I didn't make a connection to diabetes. I didn't go online to look at it. I just, to be honest with you, because I was under my mother's insurance, and my mom kept telling me, you need to go to get a physical before they cut you off. You just need to go, because if not, you're going to have to pay a lot for your physicals. So that's what I was thinking about. And at the time, I mean, wonderful things were happening. I had just gotten like my first part in a movie, and I had like a Coca-Cola ad. I'm running on the buses. I was like, this is exciting, you know? And then I go to the doctor, and I'm like, I'm a little tired, and I've lost some weight, but I mean, I look good. I mean, I'm not mad at it. Maybe about 10, 12 pounds. And then she says to me, she says, let me check your sugar. And I was like, sugar? And she takes out this machine that I saw only about a month prior, because I had a little job at a carton, like one of my first jobs ever. And the woman who worked there, she was a coworker, would drink Diet Coke. And one day I looked at her Diet Coke and I was like, ew, how can you drink that? That's gross. And she said to me, well, I have diabetes. And I was like, what's that? And so she told me she's like, well, I can't have sugar. She didn't go into the science of it, but like, I can't have sugar, so I drink Diet Coke. And I was like, I would never do that. So it's always like, I've learned so many lessons in life. Do not ever say out loud what you will never do, because the universe will test you. It'll be like, oh yes, you can. Like Obama, yes, you can. We'll show you how strong you are. But be careful.
That's funny. Wow.
Fast forward, I'm here at the doctor's office, and I'm like, I know that machine. And she pricks my finger, and she's like, you need to go to the hospital right away. It was $350, and they even called an ambulance. And I was like, really? It's not that bad. And she's like, no, you have to go immediately. And I was there for 4 days, and not really understanding the magnitude of how much my life would change.
Right.
Not even the 4 days spent in the hospital really prepared me to really understand how this was going to sneak its way into every part of my mind, my brain, my relationships, my work. Gosh, so that's why I'm so on fire to help people, because I'm like, let me tell you everything, so you don't make all the mistakes I made. I mean, let's do it faster. Let me help you. You know,
That's so crazy. Remember the number you were at too, because I remember mine. I was at 412.
oh my gosh. That's
Yeah. Do you remember yours, Tiana, when you were diagnosed? Like if they gave you a number?
Yeah. And the weird thing is too, like Kiki, you have me thinking about to the conversations I had before I was diagnosed. Like, did I say that? Did I speak this into existence? But
Yeah, right?
I'm sorry. I'm just saying, always like stop yourself if you go, I would never do that because
right. Yeah. You're like my mom. But yeah, no, I remember just being like so thirsty all the time. And it was like a weird thing because I had lost all of this weight and I was craving ice cream. So quite literally, the night before I got diagnosed, I went with my girlfriend to get like a huge bucket of ice cream. And I felt so sick that night. Like I probably, if I wouldn't have looked up my symptoms, I truly don't know how much longer I would have made it. Because I was just indulging in like all of this stuff. And my blood sugar was only at like 572 when I went in exact. And so I don't know how that happened, but I'm sure if it would have gone a couple more days, things would have looked different. So fortunate that we caught it beforehand. And Kiki, like you, like, I think there's a lesson in everything that we go through in life, and we're never given anything that we can't handle. So, yeah, that's definitely something that I've learned from this whole experience. And I think every day is something to not take for granted, right? Like we've seen how quickly life can change. And so it's like, man, I will never in my life take any of this like it's promised because nothing is promised. But I don't know.
I agree.
Look at us now.
I agree. One thing I would, well, just to go off of what you just said, and for people with diabetes, which is just a condition that is life altering. Even if you have type 2 diabetes, it's like you can't navigate the way you used to. You got this extra program running in the back of your mind, and I feel like I'm just in this place, and this is what I try to teach other people, is to reframe your thoughts. And instead of thinking of the negative, think of the positive. And I feel like all of us get an early training in how to move and how to not just even accept, but to honor and respect and like sit in the good moments of life, because we have that struggle that teaches us to enjoy more when things are good. Right. And so you have this moment of like, we just kind of get an early, just in general, diabetes. I think you get, like in school, you get the lesson before the test, right? And they teach you, and then you take the test. And diabetes is test, and now you have your lesson. And you learn your lessons, like life lessons that way. But it's all through the test. It's all like massive, like trial and error. But once you accept that it's that, you're like, oh, okay, I'm learning how to do this. So it's okay if I make a mistake. It's okay if my blood sugar, I didn't make it today, but then there's still another day. And each day you get closer and closer to getting it right and getting it right for you, because there's no one size all, approach to diabetes. So just off of what you said, yes.
That's so beautiful. Every time I talk to you, you just drop so many nuggets. And I don't think you understand how much I just admire you, because I wasn't really involved in like the diabetes community online, and you were like literally one of the first like 2 or 3 accounts that I found when I thought, And so I've just always admired you. And, when I had the opportunity to even like chat with you, I was just kind of in awe, like, oh, whatever she says, like I'm just eating it all up. So
I'm admiring you right back. Like, I remember when I found your page and I was like, look at this beautiful woman. She's so beautiful. And then I met you in person, and well, actually just seeing you, because you'll see a person and it's like Instagram in general, you know nothing about people. You just see whatever it is they show you, and every picture looks great. You know nothing about their life. It could be a hot mess express over there. You don't know that, right? But then you meet someone, and a lot of times you can connect. I feel like spirit, you can feel that even from a picture. And I always kind of had a good vibe. And then I met her and was like, oh, she's gorgeous inside too.
Oh,
You're wonderful. And she does so much Tiana, you do so much in the community, and how I will never forget what you said to my daughter, because my daughter's at this age, she's a preteen, and her body's doing a thing, and she's just like, I'm not comfortable, what's going on, this is different, or my clothes don't feel right in my stomach. And I am someone who is recovered from an eating disorder, so I had disordered eating patterns. And to see her go through that and say things to herself that are not nice, and as a mom, the only thing that I think about is how much I struggled with that. And I had, I was omitting my insulin, and I wouldn't take it so I could lose weight. So I can, I knew whoever I was meeting, I was like, I'm meeting Jay-Z today, or I'm out with Kanye today. I literally was like trying to lose weight until I got to the audition or whatever it was that had plans. And I was really sick. I was really sick. And all I can think about when she says those things is like, don't think that. Don't think that. And that's kind of the worst way to approach things as a parent. So I'm learning how to like gently talk to her. And Tiana, you said the perfect thing. And now I try to repeat it to her when she's in the mirror. She goes, oh, this belly, I think I'm fat. If I would just like, and she'll want to suck it in. And I'm like, really? God made you beautiful and wonderfully made. We all have different bodies. And why would you say that about yourself? Remember what Tiana said. Would you say that about me? She was like, I would never call you fat. And I was like, then why would you call yourself that? And Tiana, that comes from you. I thank you so much for saying that to my daughter, because I didn't even have the words. All I had was the anxiety and all of the memories of me constantly, all the struggle that I had. And as parents, you just don't want your kids to struggle the way that you did. And they have their own journey, and you have to allow it. But then sometimes, parenting doesn't come with a handbook, and there are no words to communicate to your kid how to love themselves sometimes. So, but thank you, Tiana, because that was beautiful what you said. And she was like, you're right, Mom.
That's so sweet. That reminds me kind of what my mom did when we were growing up. We had like affirmations to say, and she wrote on like a sticky note, I'm smart, I'm beautiful, I'm capable, I'm talented, anything that resonated with us. And she made us say it every morning before school. And at the time I was like, why are we doing this? Like, this is so great. Like, this is so weird. But now looking back, I'm like, I feel like I'm more confident and like navigating through things. Like, even when I am feeling low on confidence that day, I'm capable of reminding myself, like, no, I am intelligent, I am strong, I am worthy, like whatever I need to tell myself to get through whatever I'm going through. I think that's beautiful.
I love
that. That is so sweet. I think our support system and the people that we have around us truly do influence so much of how we perceive life and how we perceive ourselves. And I think it's so important to continue as you go through life to find those groups of people that really uplift you and that feed your soul and your spirit, because all of that is what makes this whole thing beautiful, right? Like, I don't think I would be close to half the person I am without, my parents and my close friends and those people that I can call on the really hard days. Cause you both know how it is. Like, when you're doing all this stuff and people see you in the light, they're like, oh, she has it all together. Her life is all figured out. She's got it, and then you have those people that really see you on those days when you need the help. Right. And I was talking to myself yesterday about how sometimes the healer needs the healing too. And I think we sometimes are so fixed on trying to help heal everybody else that we don't take that time to feed that energy and that healing into ourselves and our own souls. And I've been exploring this healing journey lately, through all of the hurt that I've been through and all of the stressors and the anger that diabetes has even brought out. Because I spend a lot of my time, which I absolutely love and wouldn't trade for the world, helping other people. And lately, I've just been trying to figure out how to help myself too. So I think that's so important, and just keeping yourself, like I said, around those good people. And Kiki, your daughter has the most incredible mom to look up to. Like, she's going to do great. She's going to be amazing. And I can't wait.
Pain in her tail right now. I'm getting the eye rolls and the like. But I just pray that I pray that she'll look back and she'll forgive me because I'm not perfect. And, parents, like I said, doesn't come with a handbook. Sometimes I'll stress her out. The other day I took her to school and she was just like, you stressed me out today.
Communication.
I love that about Lilly though. Lilly, my oldest, is such a communicator, and she has always been that way since really young. So she will tell me exactly how she feels, and let me tell you, it's hard to parent because I come from a generation where it's like, excuse me, you don't tell me how you feel. You keep that to yourself, whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll say things like, I'm not going to say it out loud because I know it's disrespectful, but I want to let you know that I'm thinking it. And then she'll just look at me, and I'm like, well, I'm happy that you know you cannot say that to me, and you can continue thinking that. So we have this like I gotta allow her to be herself, but I do hope that she'll look back and she'll be like, she was just trying to love me.
She will.
I'm sure she will.
That's so cute. Bree, I had a question for you really quick. So as I mentioned at the beginning, and Kiki's daughter actually just went and met Breana. Can I call you Bree anyways? Like, I just started calling you. Okay. Yeah. She just met her and it was the cutest thing ever because she was so excited and she's like, I watched the entire movie, and I just can't imagine how many little girls watched that movie and saw themselves in you, right? And so my question for you is like, what inspired you to get into acting and how did you land the role in Purple Hearts?
Oh my gosh. Okay. So I have been acting since I was a child. I started on the East Coast in just plays or showcases, whatever I could really get into. I wish I had a better answer for like how I got into it. I feel like I was just born to do entertainment. Like, there's no reason that I should be still loving it, and that I loved it at 5 and now I'm loving it at almost 23. It's like, I don't know, I just truly feel like I was born to be in the industry. And so I've stuck with it, and I went on and off with acting and singing, but I have always come back to it, and that is the only thing that truly makes me feel like I want to wake up and do this every single day. So I just decided that, like, okay, let's make a career out of it. And I moved to LA at 15. And it was an interesting move because I moved and I was turning 16 and I only came out with my sister. My parents had to stay on the East Coast. And so that was like, whoa, grow up. Because my sister was 18 at the time and I was 16, and that's really young to be living in LA just by yourself. But we did it, and my family is the most supportive family ever. Like, I honestly look back and I'm like, how did we do that? But everyone really believes in me and my dream, and can't be more thankful for the family and friends that I have that continue to support me every single day through that. And I just audition and do what I need to do to make sure that I live my dream, which is waking up and doing that every day. Like, I look back and I'm like, yeah, still love it, still want to do it, so let's do it. And for Purple Hearts, I auditioned for it. I did a self-tape, which is pretty much like you set up a camera and you record yourself doing the scene they send. And I did it with my friend, and I think I kept him up to like 1:30 or 2 a.m. We were roommates at the time. And so yeah, I mean, he was great doing that, which, funny story, that roommate was also a type 1 diabetic, which we were. Oh my God. That's a whole other story about how we got to be roommates.
That's ironic.
But yeah, he read with me, and then I did a director session with the director of Purple Hearts over Zoom. And then I booked it, and then I got on set, and I was like, hey, did you guys know I'm type 1 diabetic? or no? And they were like, what? You're type 1 diabetic? And I was like, yeah, I had no idea until I read the whole script. And they're like, well, we had no idea you were type 1. And I was like, yeah. So it was kind of a surreal moment on set, especially with Sophia, because she was very, very open to hearing my side of things and making sure that she translated everything well with her being, normal, not a type 1 diabetic. And so she really made me feel welcomed in sharing my opinion and my experiences to make sure that everything was kind of like correct. And they did have like an on-set person. I'm not sure what brand of, I think maybe like Medtronic or something like that, but they did have someone on set like directing and making sure that everything was correct and accurate. But I don't know, I felt not like special, but like I definitely felt happy to be a part, and that she wanted to actually listen to my experiences, and that those two parts of my life like merged in the weirdest way possible. So yeah, it was like a very touching and crazy, can't believe this moment. And yeah, I think just knowing that I've been a part of a movie that has represented the autoimmune disorder that I have is like, I have no words. I still have no words for it, because it's like, it's just one of those meant to be, doesn't make any other sense type of situations. And I feel grateful that I was chosen to be in that position. And I feel even more grateful knowing that like other people have seen it and have appreciated it and put their opinions on it. And it sparked so many conversations about type 1, because there aren't enough, and there still aren't enough. And it just, I feel like I helped make a difference, and that is the most wonderful feeling. And to do it through something I love is like, that just takes cake.
Oh my gosh. Man, I love everything that you just said, because from the outside looking in, it's like we may have had this whole picture drawn up of how this movie was produced and made and who did what, but I had no clue how this all aligned, and that you didn't even know they were basing the storyline off of a type 1, and then you show up and you're like, hold on, I actually have type 1. And the fact that they were open to allowing you kind of help narrate how they were depicting diabetes is so cool. So
it was definitely an experience to remember that entire film. Like the guy who played Frankie, who was my love interest in the movie, I knew him since like 2015. That's one of my best friends. His name is Chosen. So I was like, what? And again, when I booked this, I read like the welcome packet type of thing, and I was like, what is happening right now? I knew two other people on set as well. The guy who played Armando is Nicholas. He is great. And I'm like, I know you. And then, what is his name? He played Luke's older brother, and I knew him from another project too. And I'm like, why am I so integrated with this project right now? It's crazy. But yeah, no, it was an insane moment.
You're a big deal. That's why you know everybody. You should have been like, whoa.
No, it was pretty cool for sure. And I feel like I got more people reaching out to me about diabetes when I did the Dexcom commercial.
Yeah.
And that really set in stone that I was doing like the right thing with like sharing my story, meeting other amazing people like you two, and coming together and having these types of conversations. Like the amount of people that I had that were like, my 13-year-old or my daughter also, I was like in tears reading my DMs, because I'm like, this is so surreal. Like I never knew that my one Instagram post was going to turn into like making a difference with people that are amazing. And I'm like, this is crazy. How did we end up here?
That is so like meant to be, right? Like you can't dream some stuff up, and that is one of those things that you just can't. And I'm so incredibly honored to know you, and just to be kind of cheering you on along this this journey because I know this is just the beginning. So
I
I'm
think it is.
so excited.
Oh yeah, me too. And just like even having conversations and meeting you, Qiana, is like, yeah, we're all doing something something right here. And I know Tiana was great, but like just every day I'm like amazed with something. I'm like, ah, awesome. And then like we're all on the same wavelength with everything, and I just feel grateful to even have this conversation and to meet you guys. And your daughters were just so cute. Like my heart. But yeah, having conversations like this is just so important. I think for girls like your daughter's age and stuff like that, just like I feel so lucky to be able to do something like that. To be able to be like, you know what? I have diabetes burnout right now too. So me and you together, I don't know. It's great. And I think that's one of the things that, like your daughter was saying, that there are some perks. I know she meant like the parks and stuff, but I think the community has been the most supportive and heart-touching thing throughout my entire journey with type 1 diabetes. Like from the very beginning, if I reached out to anyone, like someone was just like, oh my God, let me tell you this. And then they let me in on it. And I'm like, wow, you made me feel like I'm not crazy. I don't know. I think it's great. And I am so glad to have you guys as diet buddies now. I'm so excited.
Same here. Same here. You're saying so much that like resonates, or I know you too, Tiana. And it resonates with me, with how supportive the diabetes community is. And you know, we're in March, right? The months are flying by. But this is the tail end of Women's Month.
Yeah.
And you were talking about, talking to my daughters, and I know that she lit up. Even when I told her, "Okay, you want to come meet her?" She just lit up. So thank you, because I know you just you made a deposit in her like belief bank, and she'll always remember this moment, and she'll remember you. And I just want her to know that she can do whatever she wants in life. Like, doesn't matter how hard things get. Like, don't give up on yourself. Like, go for it. And look, there's people with type 1 diabetes doing all the things. So thank you for being an example and taking up space in this space, Breana.
Well, thank you for letting me meet her too. I mean, as much as people say like, oh, you made an impression, your daughters make an impression too. Like, I'm not going to forget that moment. They were so sweet, and I lit up too, so you can tell her
that. Speaking of lighting up, when I tell you I have this weird ability to get people, to persuade people to do crazy things, I'm not joking. Because literally last year, 2 years ago, I ran the New York City Marathon, and I ran with Beyond Type 1. And they had asked me, and I'm like, listen, I'm not a runner. I can't run a single mile. Count me out. And they're like, just think about it. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm still like, no. And something's just like, Tiana, just say yes. Because I'm trying to say yes to more things, especially after COVID and being locked in. I'm like, you know what? Life is too short. Let me say yes. So I say yes to doing this crazy marathon, and I did it. It was by far the most life-changing thing I've ever done in my life, because I got to show other people that it's possible, but then I got to show myself what was possible too. And I wanted so many people to experience that. And so, of course, as I mentioned, Qiana is like one of my role models, and I'm like, let me call Kiki up and see if she'll be down to run this marathon. So 2022 rolls around, I call Kiki, I'm like, hey girl, this is gonna sound kind of crazy, but she had already mentioned she was interested, and I was like, let's see where things are at. So I call her and I'm like, do you think you would want to run the New York City Marathon this November? And there was a little bit of back and forth, but then she's like, yeah, I'm in, count me in. I'm there. I'm like, period. Okay. So fast forward to November, we get to the marathon. Kiki's there. I see my girl already. She's doing this thing. And I was just overjoyed in emotion, just knowing that she was about to just that experience that you were going to take away from it. And, when I tell you, like, I have never been so proud of somebody the way I was proud of you. And when I saw you run by, I think it was like mile 8 or 9, and I'm like tracking you on my app, like, where's Kiki? Where's Kiki? And mind you, I'm tracking like 49 other people, but I'm like, where's Kiki? I don't care. I'm gonna wait for her until she comes by. And when she came by, I wish someone had a video. Like, have this sign up, and I'm like, Kiki, Kiki, and she runs over to me and gives me a hug. She's like, do you have any water and low snacks? I say, yeah. So I run and grab my water, give her some low snacks, and give her the biggest hug. And I have like so many pictures of me giving you a hug at like mile 8. And she's like, I'm in a little bit of pain though. And I say, you got it. You almost there. And so Kiki, then like, how is this experience? Because I don't think we've gotten to really like talk about it after the fact, but like, how, looking back at it, like, how was this for you? Did it meet what I had hyped it up to be?
Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And I am so happy, Tiana, that you are a part of like wrapping that journey of 26.2. Why is it 0.2? Who in the world thought to just make it this is just a little bit more? Oh my gosh. But yes, I mean, I will never forget. I will never forget. And I will tell you this. She's like, she ran the New York City Marathon. I was like, I ran about to 10 miles. And then I think I was like running and walking. And then I don't even think that was a form of walking. I don't know what that was. By mile 24, I in my mind, I felt like I was like on my hands and knees trying to get to the end, but I was still walking. And it was nighttime. I mean, I started and it was bright and sunny and all the endorphins are up and everybody, the crowd is amazing because you get that energy.
Yeah.
And when I saw you at mile 8 and I got a hug from you, and I had already had a low, like right at the beginning. So I was navigating that. And I was like, I need more low snacks. And so I got, all fueled up and went on my way. And it was like a party in the streets, especially in Brooklyn. And BK was like crazy.
Yeah.
But then, the moon came out and there weren't as many people running and I was still on the street. And then I was like seeing the older people and I was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, got out because there are like 70-year-olds running the marathon and it doesn't matter, like as long as you keep a pace, and they go into the end. And there were some who were dusting me. I was like, oh, this is amazing. They're really going. And one thing I didn't tell you, though I said I would do the marathon when you asked me, I really did not digest what I was getting myself into.
Mm-hmm.
And no one knows this really. I did not train for this. I did not. So to be the last one of the group to come in. So I trained to a certain point, but I didn't train the way they tell you. Like, I think I did 10 miles. They tell you, like, do the whole thing. And then have weeks where you're doing those long walks. Never did it. In my mind, I know, right? Crazy. What is wrong with me?
That's insane.
That is insane. I know that was an insane decision to make. But at the same time, I had this moment with myself where I said, I'm doing this marathon because I want to show my daughter that it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter how many years you've had diabetes. You can still challenge yourself in ways that you thought you never would. I was never interested in running a marathon, but I'm interested in seeing what my body can do because we have one life. We have one body. Let's use it up. Use it all up. Because who's to say I can't do this at a certain age? But I'm 22 years in. I'm going to push the envelope. What can I do? And I wanted to feel the resilience that comes with using all of what God gave you and have that be a testimony to other people too, to just challenge yourself and live life. So by the end of it, it was like the journey itself, and it became bigger for me. It was a moment to kind of prove to myself that I can do things that I never dreamed of doing. That were physically exhausting, proving to my daughter that she can do anything at any age. And then because I was walking alone, there was no one else by my side, remembering that it's up to you. You're the one walking this road, your life. Nobody can make anything happen for you. Nobody's going to come save you. No one can walk the road, make your dreams come true, work the work, but you. So remember that. And then at mile 24, God sends Tiana to say, you got to walk it alone, but I'm going to send people on the way who are going to take you to the next step, to put some gas in your tank when you feel like you ain't got no more. So Tiana, that's what you were for me. I was like, I got to walk this road alone. And it was just making me think of my entire life. And not to get deep on this right now, but that's how deep it was. And then it was God said, but you're not alone.
Aww.
He sends people on the way to take you to the next thing. And then they leave. You know, people are in your life, seasons, you know, lifetimes, but they are all a part of your journey. And that's who you were for me. Because I was walking at mile 24, like, am I going to make it? And I was like, well, you can't go back now. And you can't just stop. And I know everyone was partying. Everyone was partying. They made it. They finished. And I'm the last one. And I didn't think anyone was waiting for me. And I'm walking with my head down, feeling defeated. And I hear pom-poms. And in the distance, I was like, is it a dream? I think it's a dream. And I hear, Kiki, you got this, Kiki, yay! And I look up and I'm like, it's Tiana. And I was like, what? And I started crying. I was like, you waited for me. You waited. She's like, no, I'm not leaving you. Come on, we got this. And I'm thinking you kind of lied to me, but it's okay. She told me I was at mile 24, but I was really like 23.2. She's like, come on, 2 more miles. And I was like, as I'm running towards the end, I'm like, are you sure? Because she's like, no, it was actually 23 miles that you were at, but we got this. Let's do it. And she took me all the way to the end, and I made it. So thank you for being really a godsend. And it was a God wink to just, hey, you have to walk this road alone, but I'm always going to send a parachute. It's going to be something there for you to remind you that, yeah, you could do this. You could push. You got it.
Miss Ma'am, please stop, because now I'm over here like, should I run a marathon? Like, you should. I'm not a runner, and let me tell you, my friends will be like, no, she don't need to run. I'm over here like 24 yeah, 24 miles. I got that.
You should. The application's just open. They close on April 7th. So if you want, let me know. We can get you on the team.
If you keep talking like that, I might send in my application.
Yeah, you should. I mean, even though we may not have had the fastest times or finished, with all of the elite runners, I think, like Kiki said, there's so many different lessons to be learned, right? And this was one of those tests. And throughout that test, you were learning lessons about yourself and about how resilient you are. And I think, now you have this testimony, right? And now you have this testimony that you can say, I did this. It was not easy, but I'm going to always finish. And I don't care how long it takes. And I don't care how hard it is. I'm not giving up on myself. And so that is all the experience I could have asked for, right? When I said, I hope you take something away. I don't know what you're going to take away. And if that's what you took away, that's powerful. And I'm just so proud of you. That was like one of the best days of my life. So thanks for letting me be a part of it, because I wasn't about to leave you.
Yeah. And then towards the end, I started playing like my songs, because I'm writing songs for the diabetes community. So that took me the rest of the way, just like playing songs. I was like, can you just listen to this? It's going to take me the rest of the way.
It was so fun. Well, I just wanted to say thank you to both of you for being here. This has been such a fun conversation. I feel like I was just talking to two friends, and it's
You
crazy
are.
how, yeah, we just connect. Like anytime I see someone or hear that they're doing something with diabetes, I'm automatically like, that's my person. That's my person. Like I'm cheering for you. I'm rooting for you and all of your success and happiness and all of that. So, we're powerful women. And I wanted to ask you, like, how do you empower women around you, and what words of encouragement do you have for any young lady or woman who's watching this, and maybe they were once you when you were either diagnosed or when you were going through one of your hardest challenges with diabetes? Like, what piece of advice do you have for them?
I think for me, and it's advice that I have to constantly remind myself, it is okay not to have it all together all the time. Like mistakes are not bad necessarily. Like just learn from them, move on from them, grow from them, and you're stronger for it. I think that is my biggest thing. Like the trial and error, like getting through it, being like, I made this mistake today, but like Qiana said, there's tomorrow, and I can learn from what I messed up today, and hopefully tomorrow's gonna be better.
Yeah.
And then even if it's not, I have the next day. So, honestly, I think just reminding yourself that you don't have to be perfect, and it's not going to be perfect. So you might as well ride the waves and do your best, and reach out to your support when you need it.
Yeah.
That's my thing. Don't internalize anything, and if you need help, reach out for it, because people are there, even though it doesn't seem like it all the time. People are there.
That's good. Uh-oh.
Did y'all hear that?
Breathing.
I'm like, oh, you get that sugar.
Okay.
That was yeah, that is big. That is big, Bree. You mentioned reach out to your support. It took me a really long time because I'm like, I don't know when. Sometimes you feel like you have no support because the people who are around you who want to support you and are there for you do not have diabetes. So you're like, you don't get it. So how can you? They don't know how to support you though they want to, and you're still trying to figure out what kind of support do I need, which is why this community is so special, because we give each other that. We get it. It's like speaking a whole nother language. So definitely on the tails of what you said, reach out, right here, Beyond Type 1. You're going to find a community of people to connect with on what you need help in. See a little bit of yourself in the stories that are shared, and hopefully that gives you the juice you need to keep going. One thing I will say that I wish somebody would have told me really early on, and I love using it, and you said that too, Brie. If someone would have told me early on, learning how to master your diabetes, and mastering doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. It just means I got the tools. I got the tools, and even if I don't get it right, I know that I will get it right. Maybe not today, but you never really start over. I seen a meme about, people not wanting to start over. Maybe it's a relationship and they get broken up with and they're like, oh, I don't want any other guy, or I don't want any other person. I don't want to start over, but you're never starting over. You're starting from experience. And that's really what diabetes gives you. You are going to get the test before you get the lesson. So if someone would have told me early on, don't try to strive to be perfect. Strive for progress, not perfection. But we're so stuck with knowing we have this condition, and they give us the numbers of 80 and 120. So all you try to do is be perfect. But if someone were to say it's going to take massive trial and error to understand how to do this. So just know that everything is a test, and you're getting stronger, and you're learning all that stuff, and you're building upon what it is that you're going to be successfully doing. Right. But it takes time.
That is so good.
Yeah.
I think she might be a little frozen.
We got stuck there for a moment. Yeah, a little frozen.
Yeah, I can't agree with you more. I think there are so many times when sometimes we feel like we're doing this alone, and we're not. We're never alone, and there's always going to be people out there that are here to support you and to listen. And we want to be friends with you just as much as you want to be friends with somebody else. So like find that community, find those people that you can gravitate towards and that feed your soul and support you in your diabetes. They understand what you're going through, even if they don't have it. I think when people are like asking questions and they want to learn, that makes me so happy, because I'm like, all right, I need you to stay in my circle, because you'll see like there are people that genuinely care and want to learn. And so find those people and keep them close, because they will make this journey a lot easier. But thank you ladies both so much for your time today. I am so happy that we got to connect, and will take some of these nuggets that you both planted and carry them on throughout my week and the rest of my life. And yeah, I mean, thank you for joining us. It's been super fun talking to you today.
Thank you so much for having us. And honestly, just this conversation just feels good to have. I'm just like, I'm inspired by this conversation now. And I'm like, okay, I'm empowered. Now I can go on throughout my day. I can take care of my low.
Oh my gosh, take care of it. What kind of low snack are you about to eat? Do you have any low snacks with you?
I need to go downstairs and get some.
Okay.
I usually have some applesauce like by my bed and stuff in this little mini fridge, but I need to restock.
Oh no. Okay. Well, definitely take care of that, and we really do look forward to seeing what you both are up to. I know we're going to see a lot more of you both probably on a screen near us, so or iTunes or Spotify near us. So please keep an eye out for these two rising stars. But thank you, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Community Table, presented by the JDRF-Beyond Type 1 Alliance, and made possible with support from Abbott, Lilly, and Dexcom.